Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation. Now, doing something just a little bit different with today's episode. So today is going to be an episode all about everyone's favorite meme coin, Doge. Yes, Dogecoin. Now, you'll probably be aware that Dogecoin has it's gone ballistic over, recent weeks, recent months, really, but it is effectively the best performing crypto asset on, year to date, basically. But that really means it's probably the best performing asset on the planet this year because it has appreciated around, 12,000% since January, which is quite astounding. And look, of course, this means that there is a lot of interest around Dogecoin, right? Including, of course, from people like Mark Cuban and Elon Musk. So today's show is all about Dogecoin. So what I'm really going to do is just look at some of the Doge metrics that kind of track the rise of Doge. And I'm going to talk about, Elon Musk and Mark Cuban and why people like that are interested in Doge. And I'm also going to dig into a really fun report by the team at Galaxy Digital Research. So they've done a really cool report that really goes into some of the Doge metrics. So really, that's what we're going to do. I do suggest if you really want to get the best value out of this, you want to learn about Doge, watch the video on YouTube. You'll find it on the Brave New Coin YouTube channel because I'm going to use some of the visual references from a few different websites and also, of course, from that report by Galaxy Digital. All right, well, that is my intro. Do stick around to the end of the show. I hope you enjoy this one, something a bit different, but it's time to do our deep dive, if you like, into the wonderful world of Doge. Much wow. Let's get into it, right? So I'm just starting off here on the Brave New Coin market cap table, right? And because it's interesting, we can see that Doge here is now in fourth place because, Doge was, I don't even remember where it was, but let's say outside of the top 10 last year. And then now Doge has effectively flipped Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Tether, and most recently XRP. I mean, not many people would have really expected Dogecoin to flip XRP in terms of market cap, but you can see that is exactly what's happened. And so Doge is like, market cap of what's that, $76 billion. That's quite amazing. The Doge price itself, of course, is, today it's 0.59 cents. So the question is, right, and this is the meme, can Doge go to $1? Now I'm not saying it will, but you also, you wouldn't necessarily want to count it out this cycle just because, Doge has come an incredible way already. Look, even though Doge it's pulled back significantly. We've had quite a steep correction just from yesterday, 11% down. But just in 30 days, the last month, shall we say, Doge is up almost 800%. And I think if on a yearly basis since the start of January, Doge is up something like 12,000%, which is insane. And that effectively means that Doge is quite simply the best performing crypto asset of the cycle or this year. And well, who would have thought it, right? So look, Google Trends just really quickly. So we put in Doge worldwide for the last 5 years, and you can see amazingly, even back in 2016 or 2017, kind of towards the end of that 2017 bull run and the sort of the early 2018 and January, the altcoin boom. Not really anything too much happening with Doge in terms of Google Trends, but now sort of when's this? So this is January. January is when Elon Musk has really started to tweet in earnest about Doge, and so we had this resurgence of interest, and then it's fallen away. Then it's gone up again. It's fallen away, and you can see that those dots mean that that Doge is tracking back up again in terms of Google searches. And I guess there's a good reason for that. Obviously people are very interested in the price action, and there's a lot of people potentially making a lot of money, and so that just kind of feeds on itself. And I'm sure one part of that also is that Elon Musk, of course, is going to be on Saturday Night Live, and he's been dropping some not so subtle hints that, will there be some kind of Doge reference or a Doge skit, the Doge father? We don't know, but you'd have to say it does seem likely. And in the meantime, like if you're in crypto, I'm sure you're probably getting texts or messages from friends and family saying, is now a good time to buy Doge? So I was joking with a colleague of mine, Paul, shout out to Paul here at Brave New Coin last night, because we're talking about this podcast that I was going to do and whether he should come on with me, and he refused because he didn't want to get too far down the Doge rabbit hole, which is fine. But we were joking because both of us were getting texts from friends who like, I'll shout out my friend Jared, who said, yo, Andy, I'm thinking of going in with $200 on Doge this weekend. Is this a good idea? And it's like, how do you even answer that? I mean, what do you say? All I can say is, well, Jared, you're looking at an asset that is already up 12,000% this year, and chances are a lot of people are in profit and they want to get out. So it's just a tricky one. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep it moving. So this is a Doge chart. The Doge chart is a little bit silly, really, but just really quickly. So look, it's on the linear chart, right? Again, this is if we go back to 2017, end of 2017. See that little bubble there? It doesn't even show up on the linear chart. It only really shows up this year, and just as this is the definition of a parabolic chart. And so if we switch to log, we can see the price history a little bit more clearly back in 2017. And here's the end of 2017, early 2018 pump, and then back down, not doing too much, and then boom. But yeah, I mean, to see the insanity on the linear chart, wow. So yeah, the question is, what happens from here? Is the top in for Doge? I don't know. I can't answer that. So you won't get an answer from me. We're just looking at Doge today. Some of the fun stuff, and we'll get to the Galaxy report in a minute. This is an example of Elon and one of his tweets. Everyone will be very familiar with Elon's Doge tweets, and some of you probably would have seen this as well. So this is the Wall Street Bets chairman. I don't know who this guy is or whether he is. I don't think he actually has anything official to do with Wall Street Bets, but he has this account, right? So almost a million followers. And I remember this tweet. So this was at the end of January, and he tweeted, "Has Doge ever been to $1?" So at the time, Doge wasn't worth too much, and I think he wasn't even serious when he said this, but now it has become a meme, and Doge is well over halfway to getting to $1. And just the power of memes at the moment to not just move the market, but move the world, and people buy into these narratives. So it's just not something that I would necessarily count out. Certainly not saying that you would put your money in based on Doge going to $1, because it's so close already. You'd have to say that the upside is limited, and the downside is, well, it's not unlimited, but yeah, the downside risk is substantial from where we are at the moment. But of course, on YouTube, if you look to YouTube, I mean, I don't watch any of this stuff, but I just literally put in Doge just to see, all the usual YouTube, what do you call them? The pump and dumpers, the coin hypers, the market manipulators, and well, just the content guys, really. And look, I mean, it's not too dissimilar to what I'm doing now. It's just, Doge is fun and interesting to talk about. So it's, of course, people are going to make their videos and make their interesting, slightly irresponsible price projections. I don't know if anyone gets their financial advice from a Doge YouTuber. I certainly don't. If you do want, So anyway, let's get rid of this. And let me find this report. All right, this is a report, right? Okay, let's put me down here, maybe get out of the way. How good's my Doge background? Do you guys like that? My man Brad made that. Shout out to Brad, thank you. Now, yeah, here we are. So Galaxy Digital Research, very smart guys, presumably, but they've put out in their wisdom a report and they've called it Dogecoin, the most honest shitcoin. And yeah, I quite like that, right? So shout out to Alex, and Karim who've put this together. So really, you know, what they say is on the back of a major resurgence in crypto prices and retail participants coming into the market, Dogecoin has emerged as the best performing crypto asset year to date. And in this report, they tell the story of the whimsical cryptocurrency and explain why, in their opinion, that despite its shortcomings, they say that Dogecoin is actually one of crypto's more interesting phenomena. Not too much to quibble with there. So Dogecoin, very currency, much coin. Dogecoin has always been a joke, and the joke keeps getting funnier, they say. So they kind of, this is just background at the beginning, right? But they do go on, they point out that ultimately, you know, Dogecoin is simply, it's a fork of, I think, Litecoin, which was a fork of Bitcoin. So it's effectively, if you trace the forks back, Dogecoin is a Bitcoin fork. However, there are major deficiencies, right? So let's just worth highlighting here. So they say that Dogecoin has zero or little development. There aren't many people running full nodes, and those who do attempt to run a full node, they have difficulty downloading the chain history and staying synced with the network. There's little to no market infrastructure for Doge. There's not much in the way of wallet software or wallet support. And despite being 7 years old, which makes Doge one of the original cryptocurrencies and one of the oldest, exchange support is still quite limited. However, that's changing. What's interesting is simply because of the price action and the insane retail demand for Doge. Just in the last week, we've seen Gemini, who, you'd have to think, this is the Winklevoss exchange, slightly more one of the more conservative exchanges. Gemini, of all people, have enabled Dogecoin trading, and so have eToro out in Europe, which, well, you'd expect them to jump on it. Anyway, now, so what else do they say on here? They finish off the intro section. They say, we don't expect Dogecoin to become the world's most valuable cryptocurrency anytime soon, but Doge should not be ignored. All right. So let's just have a quick look through this report and we'll see if there's any highlights, right? So here we are, Doge barks at the moon. That was the title of that Elon Musk meme. So what they say is, in 2021, the highest returns in the digital assets market have not come from serious projects like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they have instead come from one of the sector's oldest coins, Doge. Doge is up a whopping 9,537% year to date at the time of this report when they were writing it. So it's at its peak, it was up to 12,000 year to date. So that is just incredible. So they've charted that here. So yeah, so this is Doge, and just, an insane pump here. And instead of pulling back and dropping like you'd expect, it just pulled back a bit and then just kept going. Just incredible, really. And they say Dogecoin is not trading thin. Of course not. There's masses of people buying this thing. So the volumes have skyrocketed, 70 billion trading hands on its busiest day recently. So yeah, you can see just, really intense volume there. All right, what's next? The history of the Doge. So is everyone familiar with the history of the Doge? I mean, most people are, but it is kind of interesting. Dogecoin was created back in 2013 by a guy called Jackson Palmer. and his friend Billy Marcus, and they actually did create Doge as a joke. They kind of infused it with the spirit of a popular meme at the time, which was obviously Doge, and this is the Doge dog, the Shiba Inu, dog, and he has lived on thanks to Dogecoin, really. So, okay, we'll come back to Jackson and Billy in a moment, just to check in on what happened with them. It's a little bit of a sad story, actually, but just with the technicals, yeah. So as you can see, Dogecoin is a code-based fork of Lucky Coin, which was itself a fork of Junk Coin. Don't even know these coins, they're old. That's how old Dogecoin is, which was a code-based fork of Litecoin, which in turn was a code-based fork of Bitcoin. So yeah, Dogecoin is really just a distant relative of Bitcoin, and it uses originally the script hash function for proof of work before forking and becoming merge mined with Litecoin in late 2014. So yeah, Litecoin script miners can mine Dogecoin and Litecoin simultaneously if they wish. What else is here? So yeah, they started the subreddit today. Dogecoin has more than 1.6 million subscribers. That's not bad. I mean, Bitcoin is the king at 2.8 million, but even Ethereum hasn't managed to crack 1 million yet. So you can see that Doge has good support on Reddit. And you may remember if you're around in the early days, there was a tipping bot around that people used to tip each other with Doge. I think you could do that on both Reddit and Twitter. In fact, I saw an old mate of mine, he was tweeting, tipping people 10,000 Dogecoins back in 2014 because that was not worth too much. But that is worth a little bit more today. So this is just some of the cultural highlights of Doge. And yeah, so they were a sponsor of the Jamaican bobsled team famously back in 2014. So just some really fun Dogecoin community efforts there. It'd be fun to see some of that stuff kind of come back online now that there's just some incredibly wealthy people in the Doge community, you'd expect. So I think we will start to see more of this Dogecoin sponsorship activity quite soon, and particularly in the philanthropy space, I reckon. So look out for that. Let's keep it moving. So yeah, so I talked about what happened to the founders. Was it Billy and Marcus? So they left in 2014. Basically, Mr. Palmer announced that he was taking an extended leave of absence from the cryptocurrency community because he thought the whole ecosystem was very toxic, and he later deleted his YouTube and Twitter accounts. So I believe he lives in Australia, and there's some articles online. You can look them up, and he's both, I think, bemused, perplexed, and probably a little bit annoyed at the success of Doge, because I don't think he held on to any Doge, and so to be quite, think of what a strange experience that would be if you founded this cryptocurrency literally as a meme, a joke, and a way to kind of poke a little bit of gentle fun at the 2014 crypto community, or whenever it was, earlier than that. And but you go on to see 8 years later that Doge is now the fourth or fifth largest crypto asset by market capitalization, and you've got people like the world's richest man, Elon Musk, literally leading the meme charge on it. So that's got to be mixed emotions, I think, would be fair to say. Now, there are problems with Doge, right? And this report does point that out. So again, they say here that Dogecoin's core code base has been neglected for several years, and there's little development happening on top of the currency. Come on, next page. Here we go. However, despite this little development and not much happening, you can't deny that 2021 has quite simply been the year of the Doge. And a lot of that is unfortunately or fortunately, depending on where you sit on the guy, down to, Elon. So what do they say here in this report? So like many altcoins, Dogecoin lingered on through the years despite low usage and waning interest from its community. However, April 2019, Elon Musk replied to a request from the official Dogecoin Twitter account that someone had become CEO and lead us into the future. And in response, Elon said, Dogecoin might be my fave cryptocurrency. It's pretty cool. Anyway, look, he went back and forward with the Dogecoin account on Twitter, and they made him CEO. And Elon has tweeted about them numerous times since then. And it's hard to really to understand his motivations. Obviously, he very much enjoys memes and the subtle art of Twitter trolling. But it's a fine line, right, for Elon, because when he's at risk, I think, of backing himself into a corner, because if he does effectively keep pumping Doge to the moon, and then the inevitable happens, and there's this intense crash and pullback, it's hard to see how potentially millions of just little retail investors with a couple of $100 there, a couple of $1,000 there, don't kind of lose that money. And that would be bad for his reputation, I think. And yeah, so, but Elon is a smart guy though, so who am I to second guess him? I'm not going to second guess him. But look, this is the Doge chart with all the occasions that Elon and his wisdom has blessed us with Doge memes. So you got to love it. I mean, if this isn't proof that we do in fact live in a simulation, I don't know what is. Yeah, so again, and look, if you want this report, it's just go and download it from Galaxy Digital. It is a bit of fun. All right, what else we got here? Dogecoin Metrics, yeah, so they do some on-chain analysis just to have a look at what's going on. So what do we find? Yeah, total inactive addresses, as you'd expect, are increasing through this bull run. Possible indication of increased adoption, speculative activity, certainly. So it says about 3.6 million addresses holding any amount of Doge, right? And Doge supply, the interesting thing about Doge supply, of course, as you're probably aware, is, well, the Doge supply is infinite. So, that's kind of while Bitcoin obviously limited to 21 million coins, Doge is not. So the Doge supply actually grows by 14.4 million Doge per day. That's just over 5 billion Doge every year on average. Go back. What was this one? Yeah, and they say an enormous portion of circulating Doge has moved in the last year, more than 60% of the coin's total supply. This shows a significant transfer of coins from old holders into newer retail entrants, exactly what's happening. Now, if this was true, if this was happening for Bitcoin, it would likely be seen as bearish, right? Because, Bitcoin investors see Bitcoin as digital gold and it's long-term savings. Whereas it's a bit different for Doge because it just simply means older holders cashing out. It really comes down to, the behavior of the newer holders. Are they diamond hands? One wouldn't necessarily think so. Those memes only go so far, but we don't know. So yeah, those transaction counts up. So this is about mining rewards. Yeah, so as I say, it's Litecoin miners. Litecoin miners can mine Doge at the same time. Helps them and it helps the Doge network. Small Litecoin. Litecoin miners, yeah. And of course, yeah, activity in the good old Dogecoin GitHub repository, essentially non-existent since 2017. Not promising. So that just shows there's a general lack of development effort for the project. You know, some argue that with the coin showing all this interest in the price appreciation, there will be some devs who will get back in there. And so, you know, that's, I think Dogecoin's lead maintainer is a guy called Ross Nickel. He recently indicated to CoinDesk, it says here that, yeah, there is an appetite to keep the currency operational. So, yep, that is all good. And this is must be almost near the end of this report. No, what have we got here? Yeah, Dogecoin Nodes. Okay, so again, it's just I mean, the basic idea here is there are some nodes, but there's not that many of them. And the problem is that Dogecoin's weak node topology speaks to several major deficiencies. Number one, Dogecoin's 1 minute block time makes latency a near insurmountable obstacle for most nodes. Yeah, so there's just a lack of nodes, and so the Galaxy Digital Research team, they tried to sync their own Dogecoin node using the latest release, but they were unable to successfully connect to enough pairs to sync the chain for several days. And the reason for that is just a lack of sufficiently available and up-to-date nodes on the network. Again, that doesn't sound great. So yeah, someone needs to sort out the Doge. Comparing Dogecoin to Bitcoin, well, you know, I think they rightly point out that Dogecoin is simply deficient to Bitcoin in many ways. Dogecoin's network is immature, lacks infrastructure, lacks development, lacks quantitative metrics like transaction count, transfer value, and centralization of ownership. And most concerningly to potential investors, Dogecoin's security shows that its attack cost would be an order of magnitude lower than Bitcoin. No surprise there. So, you know, it's just there's a lack of infrastructure, unsophisticated community, lack of development, but there is user adoption. It's just kind of, yeah, by who? Again, yeah, no supply cap. And the supply distribution of Doge is skewed heavily towards larger holders. So if you look at the the Dogecoin rich list, I think you can see, I'm going to get this wrong, but yeah, something like 50% of the supply is held by not many wallets, under 10 wallets. Some of those might be out of date. I saw an interesting Twitter thread on this actually as well that I might see if I can find it in a second because it was really good. Let's just finish off this report. Yeah, Bitcoin network dwarfs Dogecoin in transaction count and daily transfer value. Conclusion. All right, let's finish this off, team. Yeah. I mean, the high points are obviously that Doge is the best performing digital asset this year. That's great for early buyers. More people than ever before do own Doge. There are more addresses interacting with the Doge blockchain. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's profitable to mine if you're a Litecoin miner, and effectively the world's richest person has taken up the community bestowed title of CEO of Dogecoin. That's Elon. However, as again we've pointed out, Dogecoin is deficient when compared to Bitcoin. I'm not going to go through that again. I mean, we get it. You know, people care about Bitcoin. They look after the network. It is decentralized. It is hard to mess with. And people trust Bitcoin with significant amounts of their net worth. I would not do that with Dogecoin. However, that aside, if these guys, Galaxy, they say Dogecoin has one simple purpose: to be the world's most fun currency. And it's not just Elon. You know, it's Mark Cuban as well. Mark Cuban has come out in support of Doge, and I think he's enabling whatever sports team he owns, he's letting people buy merch and stuff with Doge. Is that right? I don't live in America, but I think he's doing that. So if you got support from people like that, it is possible that Doge can still be a fully functioning cryptocurrency for those kind of purchases, and that would be great. That's what a meme currency should be about. And just the tricky bit is when you see this insane run up in price, and are people going to get burnt on the way down? That's where it gets less funny, shall we say. But yeah, so Galaxy Digital, they just talk at the end here. They say Doge is perhaps the best example of gallows humor and crypto, marking a frothy market with playful indifference, one way of putting it. In their view, current Dogecoin volatility is fueled by mania. That's certainly the case. But Dogecoin will continue to be part of the crypto story over the long run. Dogecoin has a long history of self-awareness and simplicity that makes it an attractive tool for expressing a wry cynicism about the state of the world. It offers a certain honesty that resonates in the complicated world and often duplicitous crypto ecosystem. Most assets cannot rival that honesty, and Dogecoin's longevity is therefore ensured as long as one truism remains, that people love a good joke. It's hard to argue with that analysis. I agree with that and I enjoy it. Again, it just comes back with, don't invest all your money in Doge. As long as you're not losing money on it, then Doge is fun. All right, that concludes the end of that. I wonder if I can just really quickly find that Twitter thread. Maybe not. All right, that's okay. I think then we will just leave it there. So, hey, this was something new for me, just kind of talking about Doge for a while. Give a shout out to Galaxy Digital because I've based all of this on your research, your fine research, people. I'm not an analyst myself, so please don't trust my analysis. I'm just here to share the hard work and dedication of other people, try and have some fun along the way, and do another podcast, something a little bit different for the cryptocurrency, for the crypto conversation here at Brave New Coin. But I have enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it and you want me to do more of this kind of stuff, because obviously Josh does some incredible analysis and technical and fundamental analysis pieces here on Brave New Coin, and that's very much his gig. So I'm never going to try and do what Josh does, but something like this I can do. So if you want to hear stuff like this, please give me some feedback. Drop me an email, andy@bravenewcoin.com. But for now, signing out. See you real soon. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin. See ya.